Hello everyone and welcome back to another Warhammer Total War 2 DLC review. Now for clarity, I was given access to this DLC by Creative Assembly, which I'm thankful for, as it allows me to give you good folks an honest view of the content provided here. This DLC honestly has been a long time coming for Total War 2. The Wood Elf faction has long felt like quite an ignored faction after their initial release way back in the original Warhammer Total War game. Since then, very little's been done with them outside of the odd Regiment of Renown and some campaign match touch-ups, but finally, with Twist and the Twilight, the tree-hugging knife ears of the old world get some much-needed love. Now, this isn't just a roster addition or three. No, this DLC actually changes the way the Wood Elves play quite significantly. It adds the Race to the Vortex campaign map for a start with their own set of goals outside of the usual race to control the Vortex, and places more of an emphasis on repairing the ancient forests that link back to the Oak of Ages. Mortal Empires has the most significant play area for these changes, however, now that the entire world map is open for traversal via the new Deep Roots mechanic. This allows any single Wood Elf army to travel to any other ancient forest on the map, and these can be found in pretty much every major location of the old world outside of the Chaos Wastes and the Norse territories. This Deep Root traversal can actively allow you to quickly respond to any enemy threat pretty much anywhere near your controlled territory, and has zero cost in doing so. Better yet, the army that just travelled can use its full campaign movement range to immediately attack the enemy should they be close enough. The ability does have a cooldown timer, so it pays to use it when absolutely necessary since it is a rather powerful ability. The campaign play now of Wood Elves has also been altered, with strong emphasis on protecting and regrowing the ancient magical woods. To do this, you simply need to defeat enemy armies on the map, conquer or control through allies the surrounding settlements of your forests, and through some minor special events. The higher the rate of healing, the more each forest benefits you as a whole. These buffs come in the form of research speed increases, casualty replenishment rates, income increases, and more. Each forest has its own bonus, but you need to control them or at least be allied with the controlling faction of elves to get the benefit. Late game can see your armies teleporting across the map, striking enemy forces, and holding up once again inside your forest fortress without much fear of reprisal. Another major change is that Amber is no longer required for building and unit recruitment. It's now instead used for a select group of new technologies. Also, Amber's just rewarded for completing rituals when the forest reaches a high enough health level, usually around 100. As far as new units are concerned, this is a little on the low side, unfortunately. Though the new Sisters of Twilight legendary lord are quite powerful and entertaining to listen to on the map, the roster doesn't really see a huge boost. Leaving the sisters aside for a moment, the new additions include the Queen of Athelloren, Ariel herself, one of the most powerful spellcasters in the game, who can also go toe-to-toe with most units with ease, a new Spellweaver Lord with access to the laws of life, beasts, shadow, dark, and high magic, the new units mostly consisting of the mighty Zotes, large centaur-like reptilian creatures who are rare to see even by Wood Elf standards in their deep forest homes, the Great Stag Knights, who look pretty cool and are tough combatants, and finally the Blade Singers, rounding out the additions with some elite sword-wielding war dancers. The Sisters of Twilight, who have their main base in the far west of the map, smack bang in the middle of Dark Elf and Tomb King territory, form a single unit. Nestra and Arahan are a hybrid melee ranged unit fighting from the back of either a Great Eagle and, later on, a Forest Dragon. They can fire magical arrows that can damage multiple infantry units, or a single powerful arrow that can heavily damage large targets. The most unique aspect of the duo, however, is the Forge of Daith. Regularly you'll be offered new equipment or upgrades to existing equipment from the Forge Master himself, steadily improving an already capable lord. Personally, this is the best legendary lord for me to play for the Wood Elves right now, as they have a great start location and can rapidly expand their territory with very little effort. Alongside this update is the free Wood Elf Lord Dryka. She's a corrupted and exiled dryad who feels the Azrae are a blight on the forests as well, and the only tree folk that can cleanse the woods. As such, she has a strong emphasis on bringing tree folk to battle alongside glamoured Wood Elf units. Her unique campaign mechanic allows her to recruit creatures of the forest, such as giant wolves, forest spiders, manticores, and more, essentially allowing you to have an army made up entirely of non-elven units if you want. She starts north of the damned city of Mordheim, surrounded by potential threats, and has to quickly establish a foothold before being overrun. One of the new mechanics that can help Dryka and the Treekin units in general, across all Wood Elf factions, is the new aspect system. If you played any of Grom the Paunch's campaign, it will be familiar to you. You can pick any tree spirit unit and select one of 3 different aspects that will make them more resilient, allow them to do more damage, or have increased armor penetration abilities, although each one does come with a minor drawback, so you have to make sure that you choose the right one to tailor for upcoming battles. Finally, a new set of forest encounters for all Wood Elf factions can appear near your magical forest and can take the form of small narrative encounters or full-on battles. Some of them could be unique army setups as well, so make sure you have an effective force ready to investigate these encounters. Moving over to the other side of the DLC, we have another addition to an already stacked roster here for the Skaven. Now, I know the hordes of slaughtering ratmen are popular, but wow, this must be the most in-depth roster in the game at this point, and more arriving to further expand it. The new legendary lord here for the Skaven is Throt the Unclean, master mutator of Clan Moulder, his insatiable appetite driving him to consume food constantly and to add more to the Flesh Lab. The unique mechanic here is the aforementioned Flesh Lab, a rather interesting mechanic that allows you to experiment on your own forces to improve their abilities, or add entirely new ones at the cost of mutagen. Winning battles and sentencing unneeded troops to the flesh vats will produce juice that slowly builds up over time. The vats have numerous levels to them, and as they surpass these, that will allow you to spawn new units fresh from the vat. Lower levels produce smaller units of lesser power, while higher levels of the vat will bring forth mighty rat ogres or even flesh pit abominations, which can be recruited to fight in your army for free. Mutagen is a byproduct of this and is used to unlock unit abilities, also known as mutations. If you mutate a unit too much, however, they become unstable, which can give them a debuff to that unit, such as lower leadership, reduced hit points, that kind of thing, and every mutation comes with a percentage chance to create more instabilities, so it's a gamble when mutating an already elite unit, but then some of the upgrades can be rather powerful. Throt starts the campaign in the Hell Pit, neighbouring Kislev and the Dwarven Northern Kingdoms. A fine opening meal for Throt is to take down the local beardies, to feed his hunger, and also fill the vats with juice. The Skaven roster is further bolstered here once more with the legendary Lord Gorich, a former Chaos General, who had his brain transplanted into a rat ogre by Throt. The Packmaster hero unit can summon wolf rats, while also buffing friendly units nearby, all the while riding on the back of a brood horror. The rank and file now are reinforced by the new Wolf Rats pack monster, which can be recruited in both apple-flavoured poison and blueberry-flavoured armour-piercing varieties. The Mutant Rat Ogre, a single powerful unit, can chew through enemies on its own, while the new Brood Horror, essentially a gargantuan rat with an attitude problem, rounds out the additions. There's also the new Skaven Chieftain unit. He's a other free hero added with the release of the DLC, and he's a competent melee combatant with abilities focused around physical defense and loyalty, while also being able to unlock a Rat Ogre mount himself. Overall then, the DLC is a welcome addition for the Wood Elves who sorely needed an overhaul, and this does a lot to make them more unique on the campaign map. The new legendary lords are fun to play, and the extra units keep things a little more interesting roster-wise. The Skaven edition is obviously not for me as interesting, but for the Skaven lover out there, it's more reason to jump in and spawn more horrific monsters to crowd the Underhive with. Obviously, it will appeal to those who like either of these factions. Outside of that, though, it isn't really necessary unless you're a completionist for all the content. Other than that, thanks for watching everyone, have a good week, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.